Welcome to Tavern Tales, a humble establishment where travelers of all walks of life gather and share their stories. If you're new here and enjoy your stay, please subscribe and like the video. My name is Ed, and I am your storyteller. Today's tale, courtesy of Traveler Throwaway69 from subreddit Am I the Antagonist? Am I the antagonist for telling my daughter she can't use her college money on her boyfriend, which caused her to break up with him? My 47 female daughter, Sarah, 18 female, is a very smart girl. She has a 4.0 GPA. She's valedictorian of her class, and she's just gotten word from her dream college that she's received a full ride scholarship. We have a college fund for her of about $250,000. When we found out about the scholarship, we agreed that we would still give her the money to pay for other things that she would need in college, such as housing, food, etc. Well, she came home yesterday kind of sad. I asked her what was the matter. She said that she was not going to go to college anymore. Apparently, her boyfriend, Brian, 19 male, told her not to go anymore. Some background on Brian. His family is very well off, and his parents have never issued discipline on this child. I mean, he is very rude and disrespectful. And although he seems sweet to my daughter when they are alone, she'll complain that whenever they're out with friends, Brian is constantly putting her down and comparing her to Instagram models. Brian is currently enrolled in college, but he has no set course for his future. He's just rolling with the cards, as Sarah says. Some other background info is that my daughter is going to school for marine biology. Well, with what my daughter told me about their conversation, she was telling Brian about her full ride scholarship and how excited she was to finally go to school for marine biology. He's never supported her dream of being a marine biologist, and has always told her to go to college for a real job. When he sat her down and told her not to go to college at all, he told her to wait for him here in our town, and don't worry about getting a job even, because his parents will support her, and that he didn't feel comfortable with her going to college out of state and so far away. He also said that it made him feel unmanly when she has a set course for her future, which will give her a good life, while he has none. After she told me what was going on, I didn't make a decision right away, but I knew that I wasn't going to just let my daughter throw away her future like this. She then asked me for her college fund so she could help support Brian's dreams. So I took time to think, and I sat her down today. I told her that she cannot have her college fund to spend on Brian. She started freaking out, asking why, and it was her money. And I asked her to listen. I asked her if she actually could see a serious future with Brian in it. She said nothing the first time and then started crying. I asked her again more gently this time, and she admitted no, while still crying. I pleaded with her to please not throw away her future for someone who she can't see herself having a life with. She then nodded and went up to her room for some time to think. From what I've learned, she broke it off with Brian, and he has been calling non-stop, crying and begging to speak to her. I feel very guilty and sort of like an antagonist. Am I? Brian's actions are quite condescending, as seen from him disparaging everyone including his girlfriend on his high horse. Some people might cast looks of reproach towards Brian, and I do think his actions and attitudes are condemnable. However, I wouldn't put all the blame on him, as his uprising greatly contributed to the way he is. But that doesn't mean his actions are even remotely okay, and that's not someone you want to be together with. In general, I'm against meddling with your children's relationships, as it can be a great learning experience, but in this case, I think the mother did well. Thus, she's not the antagonist. What do you think? Go ahead and leave a comment. And now, let's hear the community's opinions. You're absolutely not the antagonist. The truth of the matter is that Brian is toxic and abusive. She absolutely loves him, but he clearly doesn't love her, because he's willing to wreck her future in order to feel in control. You did the right thing. You're a wonderful parent. At the end of the day, most men will come and go in her life, but you'll always be there. Not the antagonist. She shouldn't throw away her dreams and future for a guy who is so demeaning towards her and won't support her. Who says he would even come back to her even if she waits around for him? She's dodged the bullet. No, you're a loving and caring parent. I'm serious. My parents couldn't tell you a thing about me as a person after the age of 6, besides a basic observation they may get lucky enough to pay attention to. It sounds like you approached this with as much sensitivity as you could with her and didn't use anger or fear to communicate. You showed respect by letting her speak and then got your point across gently. She's 18. Every heartbreak sucks. She's known what you were saying for a while, it sounds like. It actually sounds as though Brian has been abusing her emotionally and mentally, as well as manipulating her. You helped her save herself. Now, call your phone carrier and block his number, any family and friends' numbers your daughter may have of his. Or better yet, please change your phone number. He's going to try to wear her down mentally, and the calls will keep coming. And from the sounds of the idiot, he isn't going to relent anytime soon. I especially agree with the last comment. Some parents are quite commanding and would quickly resort to fear tactics and aggression. However, the mother showed her daughter the respect that any child deserves and approached this issue with sensitivity. If you're wondering how Brian handled the breakup, here's what happened in the update. My daughter came to eat breakfast with us this morning before going to school, and her father and I had a talk with her. We told her that we loved her and that we were here for her. She said thank you and that it meant a lot to her for her to have our support. Of course she does, because we will always love and support her. We made sure to tell her that, but I told her that I did not want to ever see Brian again, and she said the feeling was mutual. I told her of all the wonderful messages and comments you guys were sending her, and some of the advice you gave, and she is very grateful. We made sure to tell her that we know it's going to be hard, but to not give in to Brian's pressuring and to block him on everything. She said that she had already done so when she ended things, and showed us her phone as proof, which she didn't need to do. We weren't going to force her because we trust her. She went off to school, and I called her phone provider to change her home phone number and my daughter's phone number, which I got her approval for. She called me while at school lunch, crying and begging me to come pick her up. I was very confused as to why she couldn't just drive home in the car. When she told me that Brian showed up during her lunch and he and his friends are blocking her from getting to her car, and she was scared. I told her I was on my way, and before I left the house, I called the police non-emergency line and had them send officers over. Since the police station was closer to her school than our house, they got there first, and when I got there, Brian was in the back of a police cruiser. What happened was the cops pulled up, and the rest of his friends ran off, but Brian refused to leave because he believed he was doing nothing wrong. And when the cops asked him to leave the property since he was not a student at the school, he got aggressive and attacked one of them and was going to be sent to the station. They asked me and my daughter if it was possible that we could go to the station to answer some questions, but that it was not mandatory. I told them no, and that I just wanted to get my daughter home since she was still a crying mess. We got home, and I sent her dad a text message about what had gone down, and he left work to head to the police station, very angry. He came home and told us that he was planning on pressing charges against Brian for harassment, and that he wanted my daughter to file a restraining order. I told my husband to calm down, since our daughter is going through such a hard time right now, and that when she is ready, we will discuss further details. We took our daughter out to dinner to treat her, which she greatly appreciated since we only really go out to dinner on holidays or super special occasions, so this was a big treat for her. We had another dinner outing planned to celebrate her scholarship, but this was just to cheer her up, and a scholarship dinner will be held at another time. We went home and watched a movie, and then I talked to my daughter about how she would feel about going on a little trip to tour her college town and get away for a while, and she happily accepted. The plan is still in motion, but that's all we have for now. Well, to no one's surprise, Brian did not handle the breakup well, to say the least, and things escalated beyond what I expected. He put up resistance even in face of law enforcement, thinking that he was never in the wrong. There are a multitude of things that Brian needs to work on. While I think the chances are slim, I do hope he matures and becomes more self-aware of his actions. On the other hand, our traveler handled the situation very well. She treated her daughter with the sensitivity and respect that she deserves, and was considerate of her feelings throughout the whole ordeal. And that's a wrap for tonight. Be sure to visit us next time, and if you want to, leave a like and subscribe.